Great musical performances. Tony Charms, Jake Tavel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have one more segment, and we'll take a little break. Andy Malakoff. Everyone enjoying the show?
Yes.
I met Andy, become a good friend. Andy is the CEO and Executive Director of the North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center. And first of all, Andy, you've met Shelley and Chris and Jackie and Chris, and just how impressed are you of Jackie to share her loss and to inspire others, being in the industry of mental health for so long?
Well, thank you, Howie, and thank you, Joe, for inviting me and for having this get-together. I think it's really an unusual thing to have a get-together like this, in which a big part of the evening is sharing people's losses. I think, Joe talked about the loss of Susan and the steps that he's taken in order to create a foundation and to give back to more than 1,000 kids, and certainly impacting all those families. So many thousands of people are impacted by this. Jackie talks about Danny's Dream Foundation and the opportunity now to give back. Howie mentioned that I work at a place, it's called North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center. It's a children's mental health agency. Our headquarters is in Roslyn Heights, and this year marks our 63rd anniversary. I've been working there for 40 years. Wow. And one of the things that we've instituted over the last couple decades is a triage and emergency program. And every month I get a printout of the number of people that have come through. They're all kids from birth up to early 20s and their families. And about anywhere between 20 and 30%, sometimes as many as 40% of the calls that we get are emergencies. And many of those emergencies are kids that have attempted suicide or that are thinking about suicide. So the work that Jackie's now doing as a tribute to her son Daniel is really to help this population, which is much, much bigger than people realize. When I say than people realize, that's an important concept to understand, because the fact that this is so public tonight, the fact that all of you here today are bearing witness to this, which is really an amazing thing. Not an easy thing, but an amazing thing. It's the contrast to what most families experience when there's mental illness or addiction in the family. Because the reflex is to hide. The reflex is not to go public. The reflex is to keep it to oneself. And there was a time where people did that with cancer as well. Cancer came out of the shadows, and now people get all the support that they need when they have this physical illness. But not so with brain disease, not so with mental illness and addiction, because of stigma and the shame that is generated from stigma. And so when somebody has the courage and the need to be able to say, this is what's happened to me, this is what's happening in my life, I want to reach out to you, I just need you to listen, sometimes just to bear witness, that's become a courageous act. So by you being here tonight, and I know many of you were caught by surprise because when Jackie started to talk, there were a few gasps over where I was sitting, but I didn't see anybody run out the door. But by your being here tonight, hopefully what that will do will be contagious, so that if there are people in your lives, and we all have people in our lives, who have issues with mental illness, mental health problems, addiction, drugs and alcohol. It's so important that people not feel that they have to hide because of the myth that it has something to do with bad parenting or bad character or a moral failing. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with a combination of circumstances in your life and a physical disease, as Jackie said, that's above the neck. So, as Jackie said, and I'll repeat, we have to start treating illnesses above the neck the same as we do illnesses below the neck. And certainly to Tony and Jake for being here tonight and sharing your talent. That really makes a big difference as well, because it touches us in ways that words like mine alone, or even Jackie's alone, or Joe's, can't completely satisfy. So to be able to use the arts, whether it's music or poetry or painting or anything along those lines, those are also great avenues that can provide support for people. So I just want to thank all of you. It's not my party, it's not my house, but for bearing witness tonight at this very unusual, unique, special, and important occasion.